This story happened in 1975 when I was serving at the Royal Air Force military base in Lawrenceville Forest. On the evening of December 26, my comrades and I noticed strange glowing objects in the sky during our patrol service. We decided to go to the forest to investigate what was happening closer. As we approached the place where the glowing rays were coming from, our tension grew. The glowing object in the sky seemed incredibly bright and unusual, and we could not find an explanation for its origin. When we finally got to the object, it was standing nearby and emitting a strange sound. We felt that something strange was going on, but we were resolute and professional. We prepared for the approach, but suddenly felt a strong psychological pressure and a feeling as if our mind was being affected. One of the soldiers claimed that he saw strange symbols on the surface of the object. Our radio communications and equipment started behaving unpredictably, and we were in a state of shock. Several soldiers even reported uninvited hallucinations. Later, many of us experienced physical symptoms such as burns and headaches. We returned to the base and were subjected to a medical examination, but no specific answers to our questions were given. This incident in the Lawrenceville Forest remained forever in our memory as one of the most mysterious UFO encounters. We never found out the full truth about what happened and kept asking questions that had no answers. Many years have passed since the incident in the Lawrenceville Forest occurred, and we, the participants of that night, were left with a mystery that never had a final solution. Some of us decided to continue our own investigation and investigate the UFO phenomenon. We came together to exchange information and memories, as well as to look for witnesses and testimonies that could shed light on what happened. We attracted the attention of some researchers who expressed interest in our case and began analyzing data and documents related to the incident. However, like many other UFO sightings, this one remained mysterious and unsolvable. We never found out who or what the glowing objects we encountered were, and why they had such an impact on us. The story of the incident in the Lawrenceville Forest remained an eternal mystery, and reminded us that our world remains full of mysterious and unexplored phenomena. We kept asking questions and looking for answers, hoping that someday we would be able to solve this mystery and understand what happened that night in the forest. This story happened to me in the early 2000s, when I lived in a remote area of a mountainous area. At that time, I was working as a farmer and spent most of my time on my farm caring for animals and farming. One night when I was in my house, I heard strange noises outside. It was a dark and windless evening, and I decided to check what was going on. I took a flashlight and went outside. Suddenly, I saw a strange light in the sky that was slowly descending towards the ground. This light was incomparably brighter and more intense than anything I had seen before. The light was slowly moving towards my farm, and I felt anxiety growing inside me. As the light approached, I began to make out the outlines of something huge and unidentified. It was a spaceship or a UFO, and it landed just a few dozen meters away from me. I was paralyzed with fear, but I continued to observe what was happening. Suddenly, strange creatures that resembled aliens came out of the ship. They were tall and had strange glowing eyes. They moved slowly and silently. Their approach scared me, and I resolutely ran back into the house. Closing the door behind me, I turned on all the lights and tried to contact the police. However, when they arrived at the farm, the UFOs and aliens disappeared and left no trace. This terrible encounter has left me with a feeling of anxiety and ignorance forever. I could not find an explanation for what had happened and left an inner fear that one day they would return. I felt that despite the fact that time was passing, the impact of this terrible encounter remained with me. Nightmares and insomnia have become a frequent part of my life. I couldn't get rid of my thoughts about what had happened and was constantly trying to find answers. Over time, I began to study other cases of UFOs and alien encounters. I read books, watched documentaries, and joined online forums where I shared my experiences and shared stories with other people who had experienced similar events. In the course of my research, I also learned that many people who encounter UFOs and aliens prefer to remain anonymous for fear of condemnation and bewilderment from society. My story of disappearing UFOs and strange aliens will always remain a mystery, and I will never be able to find definitive answers to my questions. But it also led me to understand the importance of solidarity and support for those who are experiencing such mysterious and terrible events. Whatever the continuation of this story, I will remain an eternal seeker for answers and support for those who share their own stories about encounters with the unknown and mysterious.